Alright, giving a little run.
Generator unit 10 restored to normal.
Alright, just interrupted me. Just giving a rundown of a program that I'm working on. You just heard it call out a generator that got restored. It was actually one of my test units that I'm just plugged back in. And you may hit, I have them going off and on, toggling power to them just to test this feature here. So this is not my generator monitoring program. This is kind of something I built for myself and anyone who wants to use it. It's a global situation display, and it has some pretty cool features with off-grid communications, on-grid communications, and a lot of news data implemented into it from various sources, and the way it interacts with all the news feeds and all that, it's pretty neat. So it's got a bunch of news hooks that it's monitoring constantly. It's monitoring ISO New England, which is basically a organization that monitors the grid. There's a bunch of them around our country, and they make sure we have electricity, and they try to predict. They look at trend data, and they kind of know exactly our load levels, and they control a lot of the import-export features, and bring some units online to export to the grid, and and there's a lot of data that goes with that, a ton of data. I would kind of pretty neat if you look into this stuff. So anyways, they provide a API key that you can put in your program, and I had it trend. So today you can see the system load going down as we're it's the evening, so less air conditioning load is on the grid. And again, as I'm saying this, you're going to hear the AI make some calls about power outages being restored, and then we have them when we actually have power outages, and it'll tell us the location and how many customers and where they are. So if you had this in your office and you were, you wanted to monitor something, you could have this up, and you'd kind of know. You'd hear, you don't have to watch it all day and keep monitoring the website. You'd hear when the outages happen, and you'd hear when they get restored. So you'll probably hear a generator drop offline in like the next minute or so. And that's in this watch officer, and it's going to make all these call outs, and you can filter it for the news and the threat level and security levels, and if it's a disaster, energy threat, geopolitical, civil, whatever it is, you can filter all this in. The other thing it'll do is, if there's like a news story around the world and something big happens, and it'll bring up the communication or live news feeds. And what I mean by communication is we have comms audio here, and it'll find the local, the closest police scanner if there is one. If not, it'll bring like a YouTube live feed related to it. It'll bring up a local, so I have my local scanner on here. It'll bring up a local, like, web camera if it's in the area. So that voice you heard will, it'll look for try to correlate all the data and get you all the information that exists on whatever is happening, whether it's a fire. So like some of these things you see sticking up, I think it's through NASA, through one of the satellites. Well, that's seismic. Let me go to the more orange one. Let me stop the spin here. So that's a webcam. That's geopolitical. Why am I... Well, let me do this. Oh, I got my fire as dots here. So that's a thermal anomaly. And that's through the NASA map. There's a satellite that goes around and kind of can detect thermal anomalies. So anyways, so all these various news feeds, it's going to get the data closest to that. There's web SDR, so you can actually listen to live other people's communication, and they let you tune their radio. So it's one of these software-defined radio, and it's not tuned to one frequency, you can tune it.
Generator unit 101 offline.
Okay, so it just said 101. Unit 101 is offline, and you get the console here will tell you. Inside the console, you got threat level for cyber threat levels. So back to here. So we get the webhooks for all the outages. It'll show us where the outages are. 2D map. If I want to hear live scanner feeds, I can bring up comms audio, so I can hear Boston Center right now. So this is, air traffic, and you can hear aircraft. You can hear the different airport feeds, or you can go into my scanner and you can hear live scanner feeds. And so if something happened in DC and there's a fire, it would pull up DC fire, and then we'd be listening to DC, and it might find a web camera in that area, and maybe some live TV with whatever's happening. It'll get all that here, and you'll get all the news for that whatever event it had. Now, so you didn't have internet. So that's where these software radios come in, and I got an IP mesh radio that I'm working on, and these things using LoRa. If you look up Meshtastic, if I bring up Meshtastic, I'm connected. Let me I send a message, hello, make sure I'm online. Okay, just lit up. It sent that went out live over the network. Okay, so I'll show you this. This is actually a better way to do it. This is a 2D map, and there's something called
Generator unit 10 offline.
Unit 10 went offline. So, and we can see our generators, the ones that have GPS. So this is a tactical map where you can put live feeds, like video feeds. Let's see. I don't know if I can do. I have that.
Watch officer, 19 new outages, 3,713 customers offline. 20 outages restored, 3,749 customers online.
Okay, so it just called out. We had some, I don't know what it said there. Did it say how many we restored? So we got a watch officer. So that was good news because we heard restored. So one outage restored, 31 Cape customers back online. So yeah, we're doing better here as the night goes, all green. So it's calling out the good news too.
Generator unit 10 restored to normal.
Unit 10 restored to normal. And you'll see that in the console down here. So where was I? The Meshtastic, no, the tactical map. So you can organize, if you had a bunch of people, because this is on a server and you can do it on a local server, you could all have your phones or your tablets and have this same map. So if you had to organize in this map, if you had the IP radios, you could correlate video, drone feeds, and then you could set waypoints. So I'm setting these waypoints, and then I can connect waypoints. And then when I double click, it'll add that to the mission, and then say I wanted to send that over, say we didn't want to use a lot of data over IP and we want to use encrypted networking through the Meshtastic, we can send that location, the center of that location of the map, along with this mission plan or whatever. And as you can see, we can pull in the other data too. We can bring up webcams, WebSDR, and like I showed you, the WebSDR's other local feeds and your own SDR feeds we can pull in here. We can do a dark view map if we want. Any of these news feeds that hit will come onto here, and same thing.
Threat posture now DEFCON1, cocked pistol.
Okay, so it changed the threat posture to 1, which is cocked pistol. These are all the names, kind of weird names, but I've seen these used on other displays like this. So, kind of going through a lot here, but I want to show all the features. live TV. Like say you can set this up however you want. So I kind of like having the 3D globe. I like it spinning. There's a pretty cool satellite I like to look at. Now you can pick your satellite feed by finding the satellite moving, right? So here's one right here. Let me stop the spin. That's a satellite. Oh, that's a webcam. Let's find the satellite. Oh, I have the satellites in red, I think. Yeah, those are red here. So there's a satellite. We can open as a movable window, and these satellites are pumping live data, right? So if something happened in a region where there was a satellite, you know, we're not looking down and getting license plate numbers on this, but kind of neat that you can see down there. But there's a satellite I like that moves fast, and so instead of trying to find it on the map here, I can pull it up, and I've located this one and put it to the top. And this is a clearer one, and it's on the ISS looking down. And it's pretty neat, like, 'cause you can watch where the ISS is and just, you know, see your weather, like real weather, right there. And speaking of weather, oh no, what did I do? Oh, hold on one second. Technical difficulty here. All right, yeah. I knocked my mic. I have a server that when I'm in full screen mode, my server shut down and it dropped out some of the assets. So anyways, you got that webcam going. Comms audio, I showed you the comms audio. So I like setting that up. If you like, you know, YouTube, so I'll grab my YouTube feed. And you can keep favorites, so I like this cyber feed here. And I don't want to be seeing this all day, so I made this button here, so I can kind of pull that down. So, you know, so like I said, you can customize it how you want. So you can set that up, and maybe I want to have a web camera. So with the web cameras, you can either pull up a menu. So, you know, say I want to pull up Times Square, you can search, or you can find the webcams, you know, on the globe. It has marine, so there are some boats, and it was kind of neat. I was looking down in here. Oh, and if I hook up the Mesh-tastic, so many things I want to show here. So I'll hook up to that Mesh-tastic. You should see it build. These are all the people on the MQTT, and we should see it start locating feeds out on the 2D map to all those nodes, which it did. So back to the 3D globe. Actually, we'll go to the 2D map. So it's kind of neat to see, like, to go in real deep here to New York Harbor and look at certain vessels, and then you like pull up the vessel on Vessel Finder and stuff. So these are the vessels, and sometimes you'll see like that vessel, and it's actually right where, you know, it's parked right where on Vessel Finder, right where it is. So those are the Mesh-tastic nodes. You can bring up generator unit data. Like I said, this is not a generator program, even though I named it GenCommander 1. Because I'm making generator diagnostic and monitoring programs. So, and again, this would be in the office of someone who might be managing generator techs. And someone who's watching that video knows who they are, and they're more than welcome to use this video, this program. So, kind of go over it all. So, if you wanted like a outlook on everything, kind of to give you a idea of how this thing looks at all the data, if I go to this AI Intelligence Officer SITREP, right now I got to correlate. This thing's using a lot of memory. So here's my SITREP. I want to do a better. So now it's taking all the live feeds that we have up right now, and it's going to make us a kind of full picture of what's going on. This is my communication readout down here. You can see the trend of the power outages going down. I don't know why. All 3 quiet. Bluff. No direct threats. GenCommander home 1 or monitored units. All 3 quiet. 0 alarms. But global picture shows converging Iran crisis. I don't know why. Okay, I guess it's not as bad now. Earlier, it was because we're in green here. So when this was in the red, it was giving us warnings that we're about the grid and potential failures. Now that it's improving, this shows this is working right. Now that the the outages are decreasing and they're repairing all the outages, this is not flagging that as a potential threat. Let's see. I could have it give me good news, but obviously we want the bad news here in this report here. So I could have it say things are looking up, but the vault. The vault is a offline repository of you call it the reboot cache. So something bad happened. We lost the internet. Everything went down. It's an offline repository of everything from, so if you go to Discover, or I made this reboot kit, it's all stuff on medication, survival, electronic repair manuals, electrical stuff, grid stuff, and generators. It's basically the internet, all the important stuff on the internet. In like wikis, individual Wikipedias for different items. It's called, that's in the vault, and you can add stuff. And like I said, if you wanted to just watch your regular, video here, generator. Only safe thing I can think of in my head right now. If I typed in generator, you could. You could watch, you can browse the internet here, and so
Watch officer, 22 new outages, 1,341 customers offline.
So 22 new.
27 outages restored, 3,544 customers online.
Oh, so we're getting better. I gotta fix that. So it's saying 22 new outages, but it's not an outage, it's a restored outage. So it's calling it an outage. So I just realized that we gotta fix that. That'll be fixed by tomorrow. I was wondering why, because it's all green here and it said 22 new outages. So all these that got repaired, it just called out, but it called it an outage. It's a restored outage. So look out, that's pretty cool. Sometimes it's neat to try to guess where that is, but you can also pinpoint it. So anyways, we'll go back to the 3D globe. We'll put the spin on. I'll put that there. So like I said, you can set this up how you want to have it sit. You can, so I'll just I'll save that. You can name your presets in your channel here, so you can have your oh, I erased it. You can have your your favorite channels here and kind of watch the whole I'm getting tired. You can watch, whatever videos you want and have all the news up and have this program working in the background. So, and it'll change the threat level automatically. I don't know if I said that. And the one last thing, I think I showed this, but I'll do it again. Let me go to the 2D map. It's easier. So if I go to Boston Logan and I go in and out, you'll see green and red, green and orange. So that's inbound. So green and orange, so I can do that for Logan. I can do that for all the airports. And you'll see what's inbound and what's outbound. I don't know why you'd want to use it, but that feature's there if you want to use it. What's that cloud there? That's weird. So that's the program. That is GenCommander 1. Kind of neat.
Generator unit 10 offline.
Unit 10 is
Threat
offline.
posture now DEFCON1.
It changed.
Pistol.
It changed the threat posture because I got a unit offline. I think that's a little overreactive because one generator went offline. So need some tuning, but it's pretty cool in my opinion. And there'll be more features to come, and anyone who's interested in using it, probably another week or so, I will have it ready to download. And if you don't have any of this, radio equipment, this is all mine's going to be on a server, so you'll be able to hear what's on my radios and my scanners. So you'll be able to use it, especially if you live in this area. So it'll work without any plugins. All the plugins will be on my server. So that is it.